here with you, Atlas.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this champion that the first time we saw it did amazing things, and then struggled would be the nice way of putting it.
Couldn't quite close it out.
Yeah.
With the easiest of times.
Yeah, couldn't quite. Just,
Saw
you know,
Roach on it
from what
yesterday.
we've seen is that Kale's great champion in the early game. Just doesn't quite get things done in the late game. Thanks, Fnatic, for showing us that one. Nemesis finishing a game as Kale.
22 minutes.
With a quadrant, like
Yep.
22 minutes. Feels good, man.
Penta. You got the Penta.
Did he?
Yeah, I believe it's the first official
Oh,
Penta
right,
on
yes,
the
it
new
was,
Kale.
it was,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Kale, Rek'Sai, Akali, Ashe, and Thomas Kench. I'm really not sure what they're supposed to do to try to weather the storm in the early phases of the game. There was enormous amounts of pressure on Canyon on the Rek'Sai. But on the flip side for KT, Lucian, Braum, Ryze, Olaf, and Camille. If this team composition goes later, it's going to basically come down to the Ryze and Camille show.
Yeah. If they can get the work done, and Smeb and BDD will be a two-man wrecking crew, be able to single someone out and beat them down pretty comfortably. But KT need to get to that point in order to make that one happen. It is all on the line now. Do or die for KT. KT fans, you can hear the desperation in their cries. As Smeb and Snowflower hanging out here towards the top side, and Noguri is going to have to leave. Right, Kale, the decision to be made. As level 16 turns into an airship from the Avengers.
Alright, well, Canyon has become one with the ground after game number 1. So we'll have to see what this Rek'Sai can do here in game number 2.
Going to check out some of these runes here as well. It is going to be the Klepto, of course, picked up by Noguri. That is the choice, just because you can cheat your way for a few skill points, which is how you activate your Ascendancy using your passive. So it means level 10 is when you can get yourself the level 11 proc, and level 15 could be where you get the level 16 proc, which does become very relevant if it happens. We saw it happen for Noguri last time. See whether he can do it again.
Looks like KT gonna start things off on the right foot here, going for an invade of the blue, guaranteeing that scores in close proximity to Smeb up there in the top lane.
Cool thing is that nothing's really given away here as well. You don't necessarily know that Smeb is coming from the blue buff with the way that he moves back in, because he could have just been leashing for the red, right? So see whether Smeb is going to be able to put the pressure onto Noguri that he wants to before Noguri gets to raid boss status on the Kale. I feel like that's the kind of like analysis that I want to be making, but it just seems to be biting us in the butt so often, with Kale's just getting given early games for free. Here, there, and everywhere. As Beryl eats a Winter's Bite for Canyon. Good guy, Beryl. He gets denied an MVP, but he's still playing.
I can feel it. I can feel the victory for DAMWON.
Yeah?
Might not have anything to do with Kale, but I can feel it.
You can?
Yeah,
All right.
Canyon has become one, as I mentioned.
Aha.
And
For
already
you, it's
here,
all about junglers, isn't it? Every single time. We may as well just have a 1v1 of junglers.
I like that.
Everyone else can go home.
Well, here in game number 2, Canyon is already at a little bit of a disadvantage, as he had a hiccup in his pathing. He's going to get to that wolf camp a little bit later. We'll also see if he ends up clearing the whole camp. If he does, that'll cause the rubber band camp to spawn. As doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, he was fighting a whole bunch of minions and a Noguri at the same time, which is where you fall down just a little bit, but he has a gigantic minion wave. Noguri hasn't been necessarily farming, he's been trying to get Klepto proc, which certainly is a fun minigame, as Smeb gets a decent stun there, but still the minions are a little bit frightening, and he's ran out as far as corrupting potion charges are concerned.
Kale on her last potion as well. A score is now here. And the wave is in a pretty good spot for KT.
Yeah.
Unsure if Noguri is reading this correctly.
Does he actually go for this CS is the question. He's going to give one of them up. back is going to get channeled. So Score is going to go home. Nogari's going to do the same. Ships in the night here. Good top laner sense from Nogari. Sometimes bites off more than he can chew. This time not going to be one of those cases. But here on the bottom side of the map, it's once again really dangerous times. Priority here firmly in the hands of DAMWON, and Nuclear is denying a lot of farm here from Gango. Gango, it feels like as soon as he doesn't have his Draven, it's a very different player.
Yeah. Pretty good way of putting it, as they are down almost 10 CS in the bottom lane here.
With no jungler presence at all, and just a little bit of control going over to DAMWON, so just a little bit sad there. Smeb's doing a great job topside, with Nogari having a large wave to clear up. Still is good news is, okay, that's a reckless swing. Is B2D, very early flash to try and get to Canyon, and they will be able to get the first blood. Showmaker trying to survive, but he's also taking a lot of damage as the undertow. It does register, but they're not able to dive just yet.
And I'm not entirely sure what DAMWON wanted to do just there.
Well,
very peculiar path choice. As Kale now going to come in and mess with Score a little bit, try to make sure that Agatha resets.
Yep, she does so. Undertow going to land on Nogari there as Smeb. No vision. All the vision in the world here for DAMWON.
Oh, man.
Smeb moving on in. Only level 5. Canyon gets in. Good double knock-up. Smite comes out from Score to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but Canyon's going to be able to take him down. Smeb going to flash, but not before the stun registers. As now he's going to get taken for the double kill. Showmaker diving on forward. BDD has no mana. He just has to try and walk away as best he can. Praise Seeker lands. What? Huh?
Oh, he tried to flash for level 6 to get back in.
Instead, it just looked really silly.
Yeah, it looked really silly, but honestly, that was a potentially 300 IQ play right there, Al.
Yeah?
Not 200. 300.
Whoa.
Which is 100 more than 200, by the way. I can count.
Oh, really? Man, how can you count with numbers that big?
Not quite sure.
You're crazy.
Next thing you know, I'll be doing MVP votes.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You don't have 6 sides, okay? Sorry, 5 sides. You need to be a 5-sided dice.
Watch it not actually have been for level 6, and
yeah,
his level up was just a coincidence.
I'm actually very perplexed as to why he flashed in directly the wrong direction. Well, you know, sometimes mistakes are made. It's not exactly the highest pressure situation. DAMWON do definitely want to get a victory here, to get momentum moving towards their first series in playoffs, which will be up against Sandbox Gaming. Definitely a good news story for DAMWON.
The bottom lane is doing quite well here.
Yeah.
For DAMWON in this game number 2. 14 CS lead right now present for the app.
Well, Smeb also has a giant lead as far as the topside CS is concerned.
Yeah, despite the tragedies that have unfolded early on.
Yeah. And another good news story is the fact that it's 2 assists on the Kale, not 2 kills. And that would have been really, really bad. Still, I find it amazing that Kales always seem to be able to do this all around the world and just get gifted early games. And Smeb's taking a hell of a lot of damage.
Smeb is, yeah, he's taking quite a bit of poke.
And level 6 has been hit now, so ranged form activate here from Nogari. Not exactly level 11 just yet, where things start to get scary, and level 16 when they get ridiculous.
The sonic boom. Oh!
Alright, that's a good stun. Tower
yeah,
shot going
just
to come in there.
outside of the range of that turret.
I was finishing off a minion not actually landing onto the Kale.
Yeah.
Thought that was actually coming in to try and take him down, but minion was still alive and still there. Close to being great timing there from Smeb, though. Shoutouts to him. Both of them with Sheens available, so Smeb wanting to use those procs to get aggressive. Use that E. A lot of extra damage down, but you do have to get into melee range with his Kale. It's going to get more and more difficult as this game goes on, as we've mentioned many, many times. Canyon makes his way up towards topside. Oh, did he actually manage to sneak in there? He did. No pings coming out here from KT. That was very close.
And so Smeb doesn't know about this. We'll see if Nogari can actually bait Smeb into handshaking on a trade. Good star sense by both of these top laners. Wow, the ping.
Yeah, really nice.
Coming down on that second brush that Canyon was just recalling inside of. I think they might pull the trigger actually as soon as the cannon goes down.
Well, turret plate is taken here for Noguri, top side of the map. That pressure is mounting for KT to make something work. Hookshot is going to get the stun there onto Noguri. Remember, he does have the ultimate to keep himself alive for a little bit longer as Smeb. He's going to get taken down. 2 versus 1 for Noguri, but it is going to be the kill. 1-for-1 trade. Score picks it up. Smeb's not going to be happy, and now it's going to be a free dragon going over to DAMWON and a mountain trade. Get that.
Yep, and now with the mountain dragon, let's see what DAMWON ends up RNGing there. Also going to get the scuttle crab to boot. Next dragon of the game will be a clown drake.
Now, it's not the end of the world here for KT, because they still do have Camille and Rise that can battle around together earlier than what DAMWON should be able to do. And the Olaf is in a great position now, 1-1-1. Showmaker gets himself out just fine, and this bottom lane is just straight up getting trashed 2v2 on the side of KT.
And looking like a plate will end up falling here.
In favor of Tahm-Kench Ashe, which is like the safest lane ever. So not only are they just crushing it 2v2, but they're also so safe. If something does go wrong, Canyon turns up. But BDD's on the right side of the lane, keep himself alive. Score has to go home, no joy getting a gank topside. Cinderhulk now completed, and Canyon does have his warrior enchant. Let's have a look at this one more time.
Snap going in with the hook shot, lands onto Nuguri, tracks him in the prison. Nuguri says, actually, you're trapped in here with me.
Yeah.
As the ultimate does come down. Finishes off the kill onto Smeb. It is a kill and an assist that goes the way of KT, but DAMWON managed to get themselves some advantages elsewhere on the map, and now Kayle has a CS advantage up here in top lane.
CS advantage,
item advantage,
and kill advantage.
Yep.
Assist advantage, item advantage,
skin
Klepto,
advantage.
Just everything advantage. As our Score just ships in the night, finds Canyon, who gets himself through the wall, max range tunnel to get on over and gets out scot-free. Oh, ultimate almost back up for Smeb. Thank you, observers, for letting us know that there was no way to lock Canyon down.
And so right now, 1.4 thousand gold lead here for DAMWON Gaming.
Yeah, it's not massive.
Yeah.
Especially with the bottom side going so well for DAMWON. Surprising that it's not bigger than that.
On the side of KT though. So they do have options to maybe make some plays across the map utilizing TP, but if they just continue letting everything unfold as is, this is not the type of early game that they would have wanted to have come from this. And so you have to look at their team composition and think that, well, this is not supposed to be the way that everything's looking right now. And so DAMWON Gaming are in a fantastic spot. They're the ones that are actually supposed to be down in gold at this state of the game.
Especially with this Kayle so free to just do whatever she wants. Noguri's having a great time, much as we know he does on the Kayle in general. After that interview, they're certainly well aware of his feelings about the champion. BDD here in the mid lane to try and clear up this minion wave. Showmaker makes his way up towards topside, clears out that control ward, and once again DAMWON have full control. Teleport's coming from Snowflower as he does have the unsealed spellbook. Have Heal Ignite. Beautiful. The Sil Soul Summoners. If there's any old people still who remember that guy, he'd play Vladimir, and he'd pick Heal Ignite every time.
Lovely. Well, in this game, Gunblade almost completed for the Akali. Kayle and Camille both waiting on the Trinity Force. Should have it in just a bit here.
Yeah. Not too bad for Smeb. He's actually caught up in CS to the tune of about 10, something like that. And after getting killed 1v1 against the Kayle, it's definitely better than it could have been. Now Noguri, with his plate, has his Trinity Force, has a couple of Dark Seals there as well.
What a way to float.
Yeah.
That floating animation.
Yeah, I'm okay with this particular Kayle scheme. Ever since I realized that it was like one of the gunships from the Olympics, that's when I felt like it was cool.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Lots of propellers and stuff.
DAMWON looking to get themselves the Rift Herald here. don't think that KT are going to have any chance at contesting this, although BDD does have teleport available. Ash is on the bottom, but
yeah,
I really doubt that
wow.
they should be able to contest
They're teleporting in. Canyon does manage to pick up Shelly. Tunnels away. No knock up to land as Noggery. Damn, that was so close. So elegantly sidestepped there. To avoid that, as Nuclear throws an arrow into Gengo. And that's him saying, down, boy.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what Gengo was just trying to do. Ends up losing a lot of his HP. He's going to heal back up a decent amount on Bertha.
Yep. Well, Shelly's thrown down on the top side of the map as the early game Kale once again just being exceptionally strong. I just don't understand how this always happens.
1,200 gold advantage there in top lane. Fantastic.
Yep. Just gigantic.
480 gold taken in plates. Not the most, but then again, this is supposed to be a team composition that wasn't supposed to get plates.
Precisely. And also, good news for KT fans is that not a lot of those plates are actually taken with Shelly. As you saw, it got down to 4 plates being taken, but it was just a little bit late on getting that charge. So those plates that did come in, I believe, were of Nuggery's own doing.
Smeb trying desperately to hang on to this turret.
Yeah, I mean, what are his options now, though? Like, it's just getting so scary here for the Camille to even enter lane, because after you've closed the gap, right, onto Noggery, you've already taken half of your health bar. Then you get the stun in, you land the E, you do a bit of damage, and then Noggery kills you. That's just basically how it works. It's becoming less and less options here for the Camille, as level 11 has been gained. And Noggery raid boss status is slowly but surely getting here.
The thing is for me is that KT's close quarter combat champions are just not far enough ahead of their opponents, and so the Kale is actually probably going to be a champion even very early on inside of the team fight.
Yeah.
Camille wants to be ahead of the opponents, and she's just not in this game. The Rise as well.
There really is no true frontline here for DAMWON Gaming, but I feel like they've mitigated it so well by having Beryl on the Tahm Kench, because as soon as the focus comes in from KT, yes, the members of DAMWON are going to take a lot of damage very quickly, but Devour exists as an ability, and if you deny that first pick, get a few ultimates out of KT, then you just have such a huge advantage. Very similar to what we saw in game number 1 when Beryl had his MVP-worthy performance.
Well, in this game, like you're mentioning, if the Olaf or the Camille engage, it's all too easy for Tahm Kench to really just put a damper on that kind of an engage, and Kale as well with her ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Devour, and now you've got Divine Judgment.
And the thing is that all of KT's team composition are close quarter combat. The Rise, short range, Lucian short range as well. And so you don't want to be up close and personal with an Akali and a Rek'Sai who are being backed up by the backline of Ashe and Kale, when your carries cannot delete a member on the side of DAMWON.
Yeah. Sad story here if you're a KT fan. However, DAMWON are looking good for their match against Sandbox Gaming. Canyon needs to up his play just a little bit, but there is still punch waiting in the wings, remember, guys. DAMWON does have a lot of flexibility in their composition when it comes to the players that they have. Snowflower trying to steal that one away, and I believe gets it. Nicely done. Had the smite that he'd put together for himself, still sitting on that ignite as well, and we'll go back to the heal now. That's a good news story. Still within touching distance is the goal. 3,000 at 17 minutes or 18 minutes is not the end of the world. Just the reason LS has been talking like that, guys, is because the composition for DAMWON just gets better and better. It's a fine wine, whereas KT's comp is like cheese out in the sun. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever left mayonnaise out in the sun?
No.
Oh,
that sounds even worse than cheese.
That is.
And look, it's not actually that bad. You know, you've got a Rise. He scales pretty well. It's just having a massive range disadvantage against Ashe Kale is just going to feel real bad as this game goes on.
And we're going to see how KT try to fight their way out of it, but really, I just imagine that it can be a bad news bear. Kale, and looking to make a quick donation. Yeah, almost.
Considering it. Celestial Blessing did get himself back some health. We'll see what kind of build this is going to be. We've seen a lot of the crit Kale, and it was Noggery going for that exact build option as well, trying to go for 100% crit.
Yeah.
And 40% CDR by grabbing a Trinity Force, as well as a couple of Zeal items, an Infinity Edge, and then an Essence Reaver for good measure. Showmaker's hunting Smeb down, but isn't going to be able to catch up to him. Hookshot a little bit too strong. As you can see, Showmaker getting frisky now, top side of the map. Able to use his Twilight Shroud just to get some energy regen. And Noguri gets this big, juicy minion wave, bottom side. Feels real good, as he's just hunting towards that level 16, which is only 3 levels away.
Well, so far here, Cloud Drake will be spawning in 1 minute and 40. Some of the items are just waiting to be completed for Nuguri, as well as Canyon on the Rek'Sai waiting for the Black Cleaver. And it's just basically, the onus is on KT Rolster right now.
Yeah.
To figure out a way.
And look, if you have a look at the farm, BDD has the most in the game. He's got his Seraph's transform. He has done what he needed to do. BDD has certainly got himself to a position where he can potentially carry. However, whether he's actually going to be wielded effectively as this mid-game draws to a close, is when things are going to get difficult. Because Showmaker he's got his Hextech Gunblade, you know, he can go in and out of these fights with BDD and be pretty comfortable. And now, DAMWON, they figured it out. That flash was real cute from BDD. Gets out with his Realm Warp, but Snowflower may not be so lucky. Didn't have to use his heal though, so he's fine.
But definitely a trade that they're willing to take. You get the Realm Warp out of the Rise as well as this flash, and all that you had to expend for it was an Abyssal Voyage. As now...
And pressure mounts in the mid lane, right? Like, look at all of that damage that goes down there. Oh man, Kale starting to get scary. Wanting to complete Rapid Fire Cannon as item number 2 very shortly here.
Rapid Fire is indeed completed, Oblivion Orb as well, and there's not a lot of magic resist present on the side of KT.
In fact, item spikes across the board here for DWG Gaming. We're very close. You just need a Black Cleaver from Canyon. You've got all 4 of the damage dealers doing a heck of a lot of work. Nuclear with his Runon's Hurricane and Blade of the Ruin King is very happily just working towards an Infinity Edge. Black Cleaver's done for Gango, but now he's going to have a bit of a trough before a Zeal item and Infinity Edge are completed, and might actually have to build something like the QSS in order to keep himself safe from Nuclear throwing an arrow at him.
Tier 1 boots still for the Lucian as well.
Yes, brown bags. Barrel comes over, Demolish Proc gonna come in. See you later, out of turret mid lane. That is all too easy.
Gold lead continues to extend ever so slightly. Being retained very close to 3,000, but I agree now, level 14 in about a quarter. I'm gonna give that a 14.2, 14.3 maybe.
Yep, have to count out the amount of spells he's actually got. I don't think he's actually picked up any level ups just yet. So hasn't actually found the RNG that he did the first time around. He's going to be okay with it though, he just needs to hang out in the lane for a little bit longer.
Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
Is the next dragon. So, DAMWON Gaming now with a Clown and Cloud Drake accompanying the Mountain Drake.
They're going to be moving real fast. And having that extra in-combat movement speed is actually fantastic for a champion like Kale.
Yeah.
It's only going to augment that Celestial Blessing a little bit more. No stun to come in from the hook shot, and that is really dangerous here as Noguri just happy to turn it around. Arrow is going to pierce the heavens, but not KT. Thankfully for KT fans, Divine Judgment goes down, but there's the gobble up, and he's going to be safe. The Rise has found his way into this pit, but the Lucian, what was that flank? I don't understand.
No idea.
That was a disaster, and BDD is going to get punished for the errors of Gango as well. It has not been a Gango series so far here today, as KT just fall apart.
I believe that's a 5,000 gold lead now, almost, for DAMWON, who are making their way over to the Baron, and they have a great team composition for shredding through it. They have the Mountain Drake as well to bolster their damage. Beryl going on Tom duty. He just needs to cape Olaf away from the pit, and without a blasting plant, there's no way for Score to get in.
Yep, he has no flash. This is just free for DAMWON, unless they feel like turning instead and getting a whole bunch of kills, but no. Their heads are in the game. They're going to be able to take down this Baron buff, and this is just feeling like lights out for KT.
Take a look at how it all happened here. Smeb wanted to go in onto Nuguri, ended up taking about 40% of his life before he even got started, being forced to retreat. Enchanted Kisslehour coming out scorched, being a bystander. On the right-hand side, Kale ultimate comes in, Beryl using the Devour after the ultimate expires. Gengo with the flank of the year ends up going down. And then DAMWON Gaming.
What kind of flank of the year award are you giving away?
The LCK MVP kind of award. What are you
Ah,
talking about?
okay, now it all makes sense. 3 minutes until that Cloud
together.
Drake is available. And look, Noguri
Nice.
does a fair bit of damage, guys.
That was a lot.
Wait, how did Smeb do 0 damage? We watched him do damage.
Maybe they're calculating the mini Baron type thing. Is that what it was? I'm not sure.
Might have been. I'm a bit perplexed as DAMWON are going to a missile voyage over his score. Ragnarok has to be proc, but look at this. Noguri just straight up doesn't care. Can't ult yourself and still auto attack anymore. It is Divine Judgment, not Intervention. So he's not going to be able to keep himself safe underneath that one. Has to respect the inner turret's damage, but he's not going to respect its health bar as it gets obliterated. Nuclear do a fair bit of damage.
And I think this is about to be all that she wrote. KT's team composition just doesn't have the fuel it needs to still contend at this point in the game.
Yeah, Canyon splitting in the mid lane. He's going to be joined by Showmaker. Inhibitor going to be going down next is KT. How do they even get in?
They can't.
On Noguri and Nuclear, I just don't think they can either. Absolute disaster here as KT have decided they're going to turn on the 2. In the mid lane, give up that Inhibitor. No other options really here as, yeah, we do have...
Kale 16.
Yep. And that is the aircraft carrier from the Avengers that I was talking about before. It does look like that, right?
It really does, yeah, actually.
And now they're looking to turn this tower into dust.
It is Captain Marvel now as well.
Yeah.
So Kale is
Yeah.
level 16. So.
There we go, but now we've started up the fight. But there's the Divine Judgment. There's the Devour. And there is a well and truly alive Kale.
Yeah.
And a Rek'Sai splitting top lane.
Now Realm Warp
we're
coming
going for
in.
it again. There's the flash from Smeb. This time it's Nuclear. He's going to be taken down. That's the long cooldown of the Devour capitalized on. Beat it. He gets the second. Showmaker trying to do damage as Canyon dives on forward. Smeb is going to go down as now Noguri gets into a great position. Double kill for the Akali. Dives forward with the Void Rushes. Now Canyon, he doesn't care about the concussive blows. Just wants to set up a double kill for Noguri, and DAMWON turn it around.
And what looked like was going to be the major team fight turn for KT that might have kept them afloat in this game ends in disaster.
It ends the game.
Yeah, DAMWON Gaming are coming to raise the 2 Nexus turrets. KT is going to relegations, Atlas.
They are. It has finally been confirmed. DAMWON Gaming with nothing on the line in this series, just momentum. Moving towards the wild card match. They will take down this Nexus. They'll set up their best of 3.